Yo, you guys, this is Blacklist of the Abyss, and you're watching my review for Tokyo Ravens episode 14. And I really did like this episode. I thought it was going to be good, and it was good. There are a lot of good things about it, but I won't say that it was perfect. There were a couple things that got me. I guess I'll just, as usual, just go through the episode. At first, we see Mio Kurahashi as through the cat. Her real body is up on the roof, but she's using the cat. I guess it's more convenient. But she confronts Doman Ashia, and we learn that she's the previous set of the Kurahashi family, so that's cool to know. Um, and I think this may have been mentioned before, but she's a priestess who is with Yako Tsuchimikado. Um, I th I think they might have brought something up like that before, like she knew Yako, like in the, was it when Toji and Harutora first went to the school and they met? I remember them talking about it before, but I don't remember when exactly. But we did know that she was affiliated with Yako. It's like that she knew Yako at least. Yeah, it might have even come up another time too. I don't know. It's hard to remember because with this anime, there it has like three types of episodes pretty much. It has those episodes that are just kind of carefree and fun, like when Suzuka first came to Onio Prep, and it has these serious episodes where it focuses on relationships, but it also has these types of episodes where it just throws a bunch of information at you, so it's hard to remember it all sometimes. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that we did know she was affiliated with Yako before. Um, and after they finished talking, Mio ends up using the two dog familiars, Alpha and Omega, which were created by Yako. Not sure if that was brought up before either, but yeah, they were created by Yako, and they try to push back Doman and his like black goo stuff. I don't even know how to describe that. Oh, it's what's it called? Um, Miasma. There it is. There it is, right there. Miasma. There. I knew what that stuff was freaking called. It's called miasma. There we go. But yeah, he has a bunch of that. Um, and since he's being blocked by Alpha and Omega right there, so he also tries to get in from where the students are in the cafeteria. Most of them have evacuated, but the main characters have to stay there for plot purposes. So they're still freaking sitting down by the time everyone's gone. They're not even up. But except for Harutor. But, yeah, he pretty much gets in through the cafeteria because that tag that Hirata placed on Tenma that created miasma too, I think. Yeah. So it breaks the barrier. There's a barrier keeping the students safe, but he breaks the barrier from the inside, which is easier to do than breaking it from the outside, using that tag that was placed on Tenma. So he comes in, miasma comes in from the upper floors. Uh, Alpha and Omega gets sandwiched between it. Yeah. Then Doman is in. Doman is in. There's this period of time where Tenma's depressed. Who cares? Really? Seriously, who cares? All right. Yeah. After that, I think it was Mio's cat showed up and told all the kids to go to the roof. Like I said before, that's where her real body was. Toji, Harutora, Kyoko, Suzuka, they take out some of those fake Tsuchigumo because they're fake, not real. And Harutora says that he said this funny line where he's like, "Oh, hey, that was really cool, Suzuka. I could almost fall for you." Then she enters like yeah, cliche tsundere emoji, gets embarrassed, her face gets red. Kon and Natsume get annoyed by that. She like recites these cliche tsundere lines like "Oh baka," just all. It was kind of funny, but still not as funny as it could have been since it was just so cliche. But yeah, Hokuto ended up summoning. Wow, Hokuto ended up Natsume ended up summoning Hokuto, and yeah, they go to the roof. Um, they put up a barrier, or at least Mio does. It's the place that the barrier gets put around is the altar for the Taizan Fukin ritual, which was for some reason placed there. Maybe it has to do with Natsume's dad, or was it Haruto's dad? One of their dads came to school to talk to Mio, and he had this foresight and all this stuff. Um, I forgot which one it was, but one of them was there. So maybe it has something to do with them. But yeah, we don't get an answer to that. Mio just says, "Yeah, I'll tell you later." So there. But Doman ends up getting him to the roof. He hasn't found the Raven coat. Yeah, the Raven coat didn't show up at all in this entire episode. But yeah, Doman shows up. He destroys the barrier pretty easily. He ends up sealing Hokuto, not really, but kind of. Not like Naruto sealing, but I mean seal as in Hokuto couldn't move. She was trapped with those spider webs and crap, alright? And after that, Jean Ultimo shows up. We learn that Doman was the one that took Ultimo's leg, which I believe we also heard that before too. I think it was when Doman was still riding around in his car and he was talking to the guy with the missing arm. I think that was when it was brought up or something. They bring up so much crap sometimes. But yeah, I'm pretty sure we had heard about that before too. Otomo threw a bunch of work and some Ryuji type of nonsense. Ryuji from Norio Namago, aka Nora Rise of the Yokai Clan. He pulls some lying crap and like some sneaky moves, and he and he ends up being able to free Hokuto. Um, yeah. At one point, he undid the seal on Suzuka so that she could put up a stronger barrier. Apparently, she's stronger than Mio or something like that. That surprised me. Mio should, former head of the Kurahashi family, should be a former divine general, just like Ultima. So that surprised me that her barrier was broken so easily, but Suzuka stays up during all those different moves and attacks they were doing. Which, by the way, I'm not going to go through all of them just because, yeah. But it was a pretty awesome fight. It was great, really. It really was. It would have been awesome had it not been for Doman constantly underestimating Jean Ultimo and getting hit with attacks he never should have been hit with. He's sitting there doing all these chants and stuff, and Doman's just sitting there watching the whole time. Like, oh, there's nothing you can do to hurt me except for a couple things. Oh my God, you're doing one of those couple things. Ah, I blundered. Like, it was pretty lame. But other than that, it was a pretty legit fight. Ultimo mostly. His hair ends up graying too. It was a pretty epic fight. Like I said, he ended up freeing Hokuto. It turns out he did this thing called the Yamantaka method on Doman, using a bunch of different onmyoji who are around in like a pentagon. Like I guess you would call it a pentagram seal there or something like that. Who cares? Yamantaka method, all right? And they find out that he's a rogue ghost, whatever that is. It's another type of spirit disaster. But yeah, that's when they try the Yamataka method. Um, yeah, so he's a rogue ghost. That's a different type of thing that gets added into the series, like ogres. Um, yeah, he finishes him off by forcing him off the building, and Kokore shows up, hits him with the yeah. Yeah, there was a mention at one point of a night parade of 100 demons, which which is very prevalent in the series Norio Namaga, which I mentioned just like a couple minutes ago. So apparently that has something to do with just onmyoji culture in general, not just one particular series, because it doesn't make sense for them to keep bringing it up in multiple series that involve onmyoji and yokai and supernatural beings and things. Just like how onmyoji outfits are the same in pretty much any anime you see. It's just like something that's there in Japanese culture, I guess. But oh, one thing that Doman mentioned, he mentioned Yako too. He said that this was the most fun he's had since Yako or something like that. So he's probably fought Yako Tsuchimikado at some point. So yeah. Um, After he got defeated, he was going to give them information, but he ended up getting blown up by Atsune Hirata. So I guess Hirata's the main villain here. I'm not a fan of that. I don't like it when people are built up to be main villains and it turns out they were just pawns for some other guy. Like it makes the it makes the villain look bad now. The guy who was a main villain but got downgraded to pawn. I don't like it when people do that. Yumiko Mary did the same thing. They treated Heracles like he was like he was the guy that caused every single problem they were dealing with. All right, he was, and he was the main villain. He was everybody's goal. Everyone wanted to defeat him, either that or serve under him. This guy was the guy, but all of a sudden he loses, and it turns out he's not even a pawn. All right, he's like jobber number five. Like why make the character look bad after you put all that time into making him look good? Like I don't get why people do that. So they just did that to Doman. But yeah, it's disappointing. We see Suzu at the end of the episode, which is really important because at the beginning of the episode, when he's talking to Mio Kurahashi about the Raven Code, he says that he's not the one that wants it, it's his familiar that wants it, though that familiar would rather be called a disciple. And Suzu ends up saying, I'm not a familiar, I'm a disciple right here, which means that Suzu is the one who is a familiar who served under Doman, and she's the one that wants the Raven Code. So now we know why she's going to be relevant in the series. Yeah, which actually it's kind of if you remember a few episodes ago, back when they were at that training camp or whatever, Harutora asked her about a familiar that could be confused as a human. So it's a very fitting topic to ask her since she is a familiar that's being confused as a human. So yeah, but that's really it for the episode. Overall, I'll give it an 8.5 out of 10 because the rating gets decreased a little bit because of the whole making Doman look like crap thing. They went out of their way to make him look like crap by making him look like a jobber pretty much, just a pawn, and by having him sit there and let himself get hit by attacks he never should have been hit with. Plus, the beginning half of the episode was just mediocre. It wasn't until Gene Ultimo showed up that it got awesome. So yeah, I'll give it an 8.5 out of 10. But yeah, that's it for now, you guys. Rate, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.